the elders in the house. Thank y'all, ladies, for joining us here today. Shabbat Shalom. And I was looking at the elders, and I was thinking to myself that Brother Roy, Daddy was like, how old was he, Brother Roy? What Brother Roy was? He was like 80 when he started coming here, and he was one of my oldest students. And I remember the first time that I was teaching, and I was teaching from the book of Exodus. And as I finished teaching, I remember him getting the microphone, and he said, young man, all my life they told me the Old Testament was done away with. But after hearing you, I don't believe that no more. Now, this a man, you have to know, Brother Roy, Daddy, half of his brain is gone. But he had enough sense to know, amen. He had enough sense to know that, quickened by the Holy Spirit, that he got to hear these things. And I was thinking about looking at my elders in the house, that they're going to hear names that perhaps they never heard before, like the name Jehovah, Yeshua HaMashiach. Think about that the things that you and I are learning as young folks, that our elders been going to church all their life and maybe never heard these names before. And so they are coming back and hearing things that you and I can take for granted, And so that's why we got to continue to honor them for just holding the fort down, holding the fort down, praying for us. And even our forefathers, that when they was on the plantation singing those songs, that the songs of Zion, they say, sing of the song of Zion. And I remember the song and said, how can we sing in a strange land? Ezekiel 37 should come alive to us. Notice that all the talking that the Most High told Ezekiel to do, but he said that even though the bones was coming together, there was a shaking, right? There was a shaking, like it's happening now. There's a shaking that's happening right before us. And the scripture talked about man is going to go to and fro, trying to seek, looking. Most people are like blind people looking, trying to find their way through. Job said, I became eyes to the blind. And there's a great awakening from all around the world, that the people of the Most High, the true people of the Most High, are coming to the truth of this knowledge. And he's opened the eyes of all men. Doesn't matter what color they are, but he does have a people. He does have a people. People don't understand. He has a people. And it is these people that needs to line back up. And when these people are right, I promise you, when these people are right, then everything else will be set in order. See, the problem is that the Gentiles had got hold of the book and they corrupted it. Who are the Gentiles? The Romans. When they got hold of the book, they cover up a lot of things. That's why the book of the Maccabees say, and they cover and they repainted the pictures. See, they're trying to hide up who the real people is. There's no coincidence that Judah is called the praise. And can't nobody praise like us. And so really that the Most High trying to deliver us out of the European doctrine. I'm trying to tell you, it is what it is. We have to set things straight. We have to set things straight. Judah, we've been in exile too long. We got to set things straight. And I was thinking, telling my wife, I said, listen, if we was given our own land, and this book called the Holy Scripture is our government. This book right here, this was the only constitution that Israel had. Am I right? And in this book, it teaches you how to love the stranger, the sojourners. It wasn't about color. It was about if someone wanted to join Israel, they got the same rights that we did. Very important. This book is the book that can set us right. But Israel, we got to repent. We cannot hold on to mainstream tradition. All it does is slow down the process. That's all it does. Me and my wife was was watching something the other day. And so as I was watching, I didn't know which way the brother was going to go. And so I'm sitting over there in my spiritual laboratory. And so the title had got my attention. But the way he started off, it doesn't make sense. But as I sit there, I said, oh, I know where he's going. He had a situation that somebody asked him this question or maybe challenged him on this question. And so as I sat there and watched it with my wife, I was like, well, I never had that question. And she said, well, not yet. And so the question was that, okay, how can y'all call yourself Hebrew Israelites? Where's that in the Bible? Where's that in the Bible? How can y'all call yourself Hebrew Israelite? So when I saw that, I took the challenge. So I ran and got my James Strong right here. You got to have your homework. So I said, okay, let me, just in case somebody challenged our students about that, about how can y'all call yourself Hebrew Israelites? Can we let the book speak for itself? Because I want to equip you. It's my job. I ain't afraid to come up to the challenge. And so it's my job to make sure, as First Peter said, 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 15 said, being always ready to give a hope that's in you in the spirit of meekness. And so one word that is used in the Greek is apologetic. It means to defend the faith. You ought to be able to defend the faith, meaning the word of God. You have to be able to defend that. So as I began to watch him, I said, oh, I don't need to watch the whole thing. I already know where he's going. So I said, well, let me bring this to the class so that they can, if they ever faced with that, then they will know how to defend themselves today. And then we'll move into our teaching today, which is the law of marriage and the law of redemption. But if the Holy Spirit take over, is that okay? Yeah. Amen. So let's deal with this here. Can we call ourselves Hebrews? Let's go to Genesis chapter 14. Let's go to Genesis chapter 14. We have to understand, can we call ourselves biblical Hebrew Israelites? Oh, we're going to do this thing today. Because you have to be able, because the scripture says, when you know the truth shall make you free, right? Okay. So now in Genesis chapter 14, let me get a reader. Okay. Oh, you already got the microphone. Are you awake? All right. He's too slow. I need another one. Okay. Miss Shirley, verse 13.
Genesis 14:13.
Uh-huh.
And there came one that had escaped and told Abram the Hebrew.
The Hebrew. So how did Abram get to be called a Hebrew? How many people know that Abram is not the first one called a Hebrew? Right. Though in the text it says that, but I'm going to show you why he's called a Hebrew. And all the word Hebrew means to cross over. That's all it means. Huh? Once you throw something across the street, it's Hebrew. Hebrew means to cross over. So who are the Hebrews? Because they're going to be calling these people the Hebrews. Let's go to Genesis chapter 10. Genesis chapter 10, we're going to look at the genealogy of Shem. Watch this here. The genealogy of Shem. Listen what he says here. Verse 21. Who got the microphone? We need to spread these microphones around. We got 8 microphones. We should have these things 3 on this side, 3 on this side. Where my microphone man? All right. What you got there? Now, listen to this here. Got it?
Genesis chapter 10.
Uh-huh. 21. Verse 21. Uh-huh.
Right, Genesis chapter 10, verse 21.
Uh-huh.
And to Shem also,
and to Shem, right? All right.
Also the father of all the children of Eber, the brother of Japheth, the elder.
Okay. Now hold it right there. So Eber is the word Hebrew. Now you will hear phrases like Ebu or Ebor. Okay, Hebrew. We translate it as Hebrew, but Shem is the father of all the Ebus or the Hebrews. So when he called Abraham, who is the Hebrew, he's telling you that Abraham is from the lineage of Shem. And it's through Shem when we get Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Am I right? Now keep that in mind. So now nobody else in the scripture is called Ebus, but the Shemites. Huh? Not even the Jetzites. I'm going to leave that alone right now. But even the Jetzites, Japheth is not called the Ebus or the Shemites. Let's look at another one, okay? Now, let's go to Genesis chapter 39. I'm going to give you a few of them Very important. Genesis chapter 39. Now, this is when Joseph was taken captive, okay? And verse 14, and then we'll look at verse 17. I'm just giving you scriptures, okay? Genesis chapter 39, verse 14, and then read 17.
Genesis 39:14. That she called unto the men of her house and spake unto them, saying, See, he has brought in an Hebrew unto us to mock us. He came in unto me to lie with me, and I called with a loud voice.
Okay.
Verse 17.
Okay, that's good. Now notice that even the Egyptian knew that he was a Hebrew. See, they know who we are. Everybody else know who we are. The Egyptian know this is a Hebrew. This is a Shemite. Verse 17.
Verse 17. And she spake unto him according to these words, saying, The Hebrew servant which thou hast brought unto us came in unto me to mock me.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, so now we see that they understand that these are the Hebrews. They're telling you these are Shemites. It's another idiom. These are Shemites, come from Eber. Let's go to Exodus chapter 1, verse 15. Anybody on this side here? Okay, Exodus chapter 1, verse 15. Okay, this side is a little slow today. Okay, over here. Exodus chapter 1, verse 15.
And the king of Egypt spake to the Hebrew midwives, of which the name of the one was Shiphrah, and the name of the other Puah.
So they knew that they was Hebrews. Okay, now watch this here. This is the key code right here. Let's go to the book of Jonah. Now, I know it's going to take some of you some time, but look in the front of your index. That's what it's there for. Don't be shy. So we can see so far that they was known as the Hebrews. Why? These people that had crossed over. So if you're not crossed over, you're not a Hebrew or a Hebrew. So understand that when you call yourself a Hebrew, you're saying to those who understand the book that you come from Shem, who is the father of all the Hebrews. Is that making sense? Now, you know the incident with Jonah and the whale and the ship about to go down. And listen what it says in Jonah chapter 1, verse 9. What is it? What it says?
Jonah chapter 1, verse 9.
Uh-huh.
And he said unto them, I am a Hebrew.
I'm a what?
I am a Hebrew.
See, Jonah know who he is. He say, I am a Hebrew. I'm a Hebrew. Go ahead.
And I fear the Lord, the God of heaven,
Okay.
which hath made the sea and the dry land.
Okay, so that's good. So Jonah called himself a Hebrew or a Hebrew. You see that? Why? Because it comes from the lineage of Shem. So is it biblical? Can you call yourself a Hebrew? Yes. Why? Because you come from Shem. Very important. Let's go to the Brit Hadashah, that is the New Testament. We're going to look at the book of Philippians chapter 3 and verse 5. Apostle Paul is boasting on his Hebrew. 3:5. Who got it? Whoever got it, let's read it.
Philippians 3, verse 5. Circumcised the 8th day of the stock of Israel, of the tribe of Benjamin, in Hebrew of the Hebrews, as touching the law, the Torah of Pharisee.
Okay, so now we see that Paul understands that he's a Hebrew. Again, what is he saying? I come from Shem. Shem is the father of all the Hebrews. Those who are crossed over. That's the key word right there. So when you say you're a Hebrew, you're saying that you come from the lineage of Shem. So that's why they're not saying they're Hebrews. Did y'all get that? Yeah. They ain't never called themselves Hebrews. But we call ourselves Hebrews because we're saying that we come from Shem. Very important. Was that enough? All right then. So let's look at the Israelite part. Let's go to Numbers chapter 25, and we're going to look at verse 14. This is when there was a little, I got kids in here. The boy wasn't acting right in the camp, and he decided that he want to sleep around. And listen what the text says here. And the name of the person that did it was called what? Go ahead. Verse 14. Okay, that's okay. This class.
Now the name of the Israelite,
The name of the who?
Israelite.
So I can say Hebrew Israelite.
Israelite.
Do you see that?
Mhm.
Hebrew Israelite. Go ahead.
That was slain, even that was slain with the Midianite
Okay.
woman.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Let's look at another one. Where we go? Let's go to Exodus chapter 9, verse 7. He's going to give us both. Exodus chapter 9, verse 7.
And Pharaoh sent, and behold, there was not one of the cattle of the Israelites dead.
Who? The Israelites. Go ahead.
And the heart of Pharaoh was hardened, and he did not let the people go.
So the Israelites, so they understand these are Israelites. Come from Israel, Israelite, Hebrew, Israelites. So when I'm calling ourselves Hebrew, we say we come from Shem and we are Israelites. Hebrew Israelite, we have crossed over. Just that simple. The text can read for us. Let's go to another one. Let's look at which one I want to look at. We're going to look at a few more. Let's go to the New Testament. The New Testament, and we will look at John chapter 1, verse 47. And then I need someone to turn to Romans chapter 11, verse 1. Okay, John chapter 1, verse 47. Who has that one?
Jesus saw Nathanael coming to him and saying to him, behold, an Israelite.
Okay, you got your microphone right there because I got audience watching. Okay, okay. Now watch this here.
Behold, an Israelite.
Behold, now this is Yeshua, an Israelite. So could we call ourselves biblical Hebrew Israelite? Is there enough evidence right there? So you can call yourself the Hebrew Israelite, but I want you to understand why the definition of Hebrew is one who has crossed over. A Hebrew is one that's come from the lineage of Shem. Very important. So why? You'll be able to explain. I don't want to just give you information. I want to be able so that you can explain, yes, why I call myself a Hebrew, because I come from the lineage of Shem. Romans chapter 11, I said, right? Mike, you are already here. Who got it? Okay, go ahead, Michelle.
I say then, hath God cast away his people? God forbid. For I also am an Israelite.
He's a what?
I also am an Israelite of the seed of Abraham,
Look at that.
of the tribe of Benjamin.
Go on and brag on yourself, Paul. See, Paul knew where he's from. He knows where he's from. I met a young lady at the Walmart the other day. I shouldn't even give him advertising, but it's already out there. And I can tell that she had an accent, so I asked her where she was from. So I won't butcher the word, where she was from. Man, a Ghana, right? So I said to her, I said, we from West Africa. She said, how you know that? So I began to break down the slave trade. A lot of them don't even know. A lot of them don't even know. Because why? They keep it hidden. And I have heard that from those in authority that they are told that when they come over here, don't have no dealing with us. I ain't making this up. But understand that the Most High knew that we was going to rebel. Okay? He knew that he was going to scatter us everywhere. But he knew there was going to be a return, a restoration. You see, very important. So this is not something that we had come up with in a cave. This has nothing to do with us. This is all about the Most High. And if we have eyes to see, ears to hear, you will see this here. And so the Holy Spirit is the only one can bring conviction to it. You ain't got to take my word and believe nothing. I didn't write the book. All I do is just teach it. Very important. But as Yeshua said today, if you hear his voice, harden not your heart. Very important. So I think I did enough on that you can prove from yourself the scriptures, okay? Because all we need is two to three scriptures already, right? And that's it. But so if someone challenges you again, you have the scripture say yes and understand why we call ourselves or can call ourselves Hebrews, because we come from the lineage of Shem, Ebu, Ebal. And it's very interesting that when you look at, I know some of you might not understand this here, but when you look at the three consonants of the word Ebu, is an Ain, Bet, Resh, okay? Ain, Bet, Resh. Ain in the ancient Hebrew means to see. It's an eye. It's just like an eye. It means to see. And then the Bet and the Resh is the Hebrew word bar, which is sun. Okay, so what does it mean? So the purpose of the Hebrews is to reveal the sun. Don't y'all understand? Our job is to reveal the sun. That's our job, is to reveal the sun. If you understand, why do you think the enemy went to so much to distort the Bible so that you can't see it, that you can't understand it? Listen, this recipe was given to us in Hebrew. And so the moment I start translating and adding to the word, I'd have messed up the recipe. And we'll never get it right until we put it back in Hebrew. So even the word, as I say, Hebrew means to cross over. Israelites come from the root word yasa means to walk straight. That's the purpose of Hebrew, Israelite is to walk straight. We want to be a light to the nation that walked in darkness. And so Israel was a light to the Gentiles, but Israel, our forefather, had a problem because we always wanted to be like the other people. Samuel, make us a God. Make us a God. We always want to be like other people. You don't believe me? Look what we're trying to do. We want to move to their neighborhoods. Huh? We think that we have arrived because I'm in the heights. Where we get that from? Our fathers. See, when you don't know who you are, you always want to be like somebody else. You always want to be like somebody else, not understand what the Most High has gave us, what he has passed down to us. I'm going to show you what he gave us, and then we're going to get into class. Go back to Romans. It's the word job is to build us up. He has gave us this here to lift us up, to find our identity, who we are. That's why as a Hebrew Israelite, if anybody understands how to be a stranger in a strange land, it's us. So when other foreigners come into this land, we shouldn't vex them. Why? The Torah says don't vex a stranger. So we have to understand this here. That why? Because he said, because when you was in Egypt, they vex you. So a lot of times that the Most High allow us to go through stuff so that we can sympathize with people. Think about that. Why? So we can sympathize. Watch what he has given us. I gotta read it. Romans. We're going to pick it up in verse 1. Watch this here. Chapter 11. Chapter 11. Get that water or something. Anybody?
I'll read it again.
No, read on. I'm
Okay.
going to show you what he gave us.
Okay. Say then, hath God cast away his people?
That's the question. No, listen. Has Yah cast away his people? Don't we feel like castaways? Be honest. Don't we feel like castaways? Huh? Nobody has taken us in. We like a stranger.
Yah forbid. For I also am an Israelite,
Go ahead.
of the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin. Jehovah hath not cast away his people, which he foreknew. What ye not what the scripture saith of Elias, how he maketh intercession to Yah against Israel, saying,
Help her out.
Jehovah, they have killed thy prophets
Uh-huh.
and digged down thy altars, and I am left alone, and they seek my life. But what said the answer of Jehovah unto him? I have reserved to myself 7,000 men who have not bowed the knee to the image of Baal.
Go ahead.
Even so then, at this present time also, there is a remnant according to the election of grace.
Go ahead.
Okay, and I'm still in Romans 11:6. And if by grace, then is it no more of works? Otherwise, grace is no more grace. But if it be of works, then is it no more grace? Otherwise, work is no more work. What then? Israel hath not obtained that which he seeketh for, but the election hath obtained it, and the rest were blinded. According as it is written, Jehovah hath given them the spirit of slumber, eyes that they should not see, and ears that they should not hear, unto this day. And David said, let their table be made a snare, and a trap, and a stumbling block, and a recompense unto them. Let their eyes be darkened that they may not see, and bow down their back always. I say then, have they stumbled that they should fall? Jehovah forbid, but rather through their fall salvation is coming to the Gentiles.
Do y'all hear that? Because of our castaway. Because of our castaway. Now, if you go back to Genesis, that the Gentiles is always known as the Caucasian. Okay? This ain't about racism. Listen, the scripture's trying to teach you. The Gentiles, who's on top right now? The Gentiles, the Caucasian. And why? Because of our disobedience. But listen, that's about to be a restoration. Huh? That's about to be returning. We are coming. We are blind for a season. That's why that when I use Hebrew terms, you don't know, have no idea what I'm talking about. Why? Because he has blind our eyes, but he's opened our eyes now. You begin to say, wait up now. It doesn't sound logical to my mind, but my spirit is rejoicing. Yeah. See, Yah has blinded us for a season, but now these blind eyes are being opened. And so now don't knock what's going on. Get to the book and research. Huh? Be like the East Oldest say, listen, how can I understand unless somebody teach me? It's very important. We cannot defend something that's not in the book. That's why we're here on the Shabbat. That's why we're doing Passover, the feast. Why? Because it's in the book. Where we got all this other stuff from? In exile. But now he's returning us back, and we got to come back to what? To the book. This is our inheritance. All the time. You didn't even know it. Go to chapter 9. Well, we got to get into class. But we already in class, ain't we? Yeah. So the question that Paul said, has he cast away Israel? No. I know we feel like we cast away in this country. I know, listen, ain't nobody standing for us. And then when we start marching for something, then they get involved, don't they? Y'all say, y'all can march around United States. Y'all don't have a man problem. You got a God problem. That's why none of your leaders can ever deliver you. The more I start to say, why Jesse ain't tell me this? Why Sharp ain't tell me this? Maybe they're part of the plot. Because in the book of the Maccabees, they said there was wicked men in Israel. What, you mean that Jesse and them don't know about this? They got to know about this here. Chapter 9, verse 1. Romans chapter 9, verse 1. This is the only thing that can set us free. It's nothing else.
Romans chapter 9, verse 1. I say the truth in Christ. I lie not. My conscience also bearing me witness in the Holy Ghost. That I have great heaviness and continual sorrow in my heart. For I could wish that myself were accursed from Christ for my brethren, my kinsmen, according to the flesh.
You need to underline that word kinsman, because we're going to deal with that in a minute. Go ahead.
Who are Israelites, to whom pertaineth the adoption.
Notice that he can begin to name the things that benefit us. Adoption. What is adoption? Meaning that, I'm going to show you a verse, that when Yah separated the children of Israel, or the children of Adam, he separated according to the children of Israel. I'm going to show you what that means. So Yah looked at in Genesis chapter 10 and said, you, Shem, come here. So it's like going to adoption place. He said, when I looked at all the nation, I chose you, Shem. That's what he did. So Paul said, remember, you've been adopted. Not because there was anything special about you. But I showed up at the adoption. He said, listen, Jeff, Hammond, no, you. It was nothing special about us. Deuteronomy said was nothing special about us, but he set his love upon us. And that's what you do when you go to adoption. You look at all these kids and something catch your attention. I knew you was the one at the first sight. That's what y'all saying. Wasn't that special? It's just I saw you and I wanted you. Go ahead.
Thank you. Who are Israelite, to whom pertaineth the adoption, and the glory, and the covenants, and the giving of the law, and the service of Jehovah, and the promises? Whose are the fathers, and of whom, as concerning the flesh, Christ came, who is over all, Jehovah blessed forever. Amen.
Amen. So Paul said, listen, y'all find yourself in the future and you think that you're not special? Y'all was chosen before the foundation of the world to be his people, to represent him on the earth. Now, watch this here. If you was in the ancient world, we had all the Canaanites, the Hittites, everybody you name, right? But if you wanted to be in a relationship with the God of Israel, you had to join Israel. You hear me? You couldn't stay a Canaanite and be no, you had to join Israel. That was one Israel. So the nation that wanted to join or worship the true God had to join Israel. Ain't nothing changed today. You want to worship the true God of Israel, you got to join Israel. Ain't nothing changed. Ain't nothing changed. Very important here. Very important. Now, let's get to work. All this is going to apply in. All this is going to just, it's going to fall into us. Let's go to the book of Ruth, okay? Now, what's interesting about the book of Ruth, we learned last week that the Moabite, Ruth is a Moabite, am I right? We learned that the Moabites could not come into the camp, right? So how in the world is Ruth going to become part of Israel? By grace. By grace. Even that's showing us that is by grace. Now watch, because I want you to on your headline of your text, we discover in chapter 2 of the book of Ruth that chapter 2 is about the gleaning. It's the law of gleaning. So you can put it how you want to, but I put on the heading of chapter 2, I put the law of gleaning, and I'm going to give you the verses so that when you open up, you'll know what this chapter is about. Okay? The law of gleaning is in Leviticus chapter 19, verses 9 and 10. I'm going to give you the verses, and then we're going to move on. Okay? Deuteronomy chapter 24, verses 19 through 21. And Leviticus chapter 23, verse 22. So now this chapter deals with gleaning. Gleaning means picking up behind the person who's doing the gleaning. Very important. Like I'm gleaning right now. I'm gleaning. It's my field. I get to work this field. And so now what you're doing, you're gleaning behind me. Ruth kept her eyes on the servants of Boaz, right? So she got blessed, notice, in the field. And she was told, don't go to any other field. So I can say today, don't go to any other church. Listen, I'm trying to help you. She was told don't go to any other field. He said, listen, have I not commanded you? Now, if she would have been bouncing around, she would have missed the blessing. She would not have been in the genealogy. A Moabite, whoever heard of that? When they was not to even enter to the 10th generation. This grace by mercy. So by Ruth learned how to glean from her mother-in-law. Because now, what's it, Mike? Ruth, when the time teller, right? I'm gonna show you this verse here. It says that when they got to town, key verse here, y'all. Key verse. Look at what chapter 1, verse 22 says. Okay? Because this is gonna be a blessing to someone. Chapter 1, verse 22 says that when they got to town, say Naomi returned, and Ruth the Moabite, her daughter-in-law, with her, which returned out of the country of Moab, and they came to Bethlehem in the beginning of the barley. What time of the year is that? Come on, talk to me, Israelites. Passover, Nisan, Abib. Notice how it tells us the season. See, we would have read that years ago, bypassed that. So it's telling us she came, in the season of Pesach. And so she understood that, okay, can I go out? She said to her mother-in-law, let me go out and glean. How she know how to do that? She's a Moabite. Because she was taught that. She was taught that. And so she goes out and glean. Now this is what I call. She goes out into the field gleaning. She's obeying Torah. Did y'all get that? She's gleaning. She's obeying Torah. She knows she had rights. She knew she had rights. And so she's gleaning in the field of Boaz. Didn't even know that was the king's redeemer. This ain't no coincidence. So she's up in the field and she's working. Now notice, she's a widow and Naomi is a widow too, right? But she's not having a pity party. She's not sitting around, woe is me, but she's taking care of her mother-in-law who's a widow. And y'all know how y'all feel about the widows. Am I right? So it's very important. So not only, listen, man, she's not only keeping the law gleaning, she's keeping the law taking care of the widows too. She's keeping Torah, this Moabite. And to the point that Boaz recognized, like, who's this here? So it's obvious that Ruth was doing more than the average. Why did Ruth get his attention? He got other maids out there. But maybe Ruth was doing more than normal. Think about that. Just like people that want to get raised on jobs. Well, why should you get a raise? You're only doing your job. If you want to get a real raise, do more than that which was required of you. Ain't nothing going on. Grab the cane and start cleaning some windows. Start sweeping the floor. Now, that's not your job. But the Bible said, what you doing? Listen, Bob, ain't nothing going on. I'm not sitting around on your paycheck. On you, listen, your clock, I'm doing more than that was required. Think about that. Listen, you don't get seen just doing what you're supposed to be doing. Listen, the master said, a servant comes from the field, he take care of his master, then he said, should he be rewarded? We should say, no, he only doing what he's supposed to be doing. Think about that, doing more than that which was required of us. Now, that's how you get your attention in his field. And that's what Ruth did. And she was blessed by that. So that's, in a short, that's what that chapter is about, dealing with the law of gleaning, and to the point that Boaz said, listen, the next time y'all glean, leave some extra for her. Leave some extra for her. See, you never know that in your gleaning in this field, that perhaps y'all will leave a little extra for you, whatever that may be. A little extra peace, a little extra joy. Oh, this is very important. Now, in this chapter here, chapter 3 of the book of Ruth, I want you to notice that at the end of chapter 2, verse 23, listen what it says. So she kept fast by the maiden of Boaz to glean until the end of the barley, right? Passover, and of the wheat harvest. Notice that she dealt with them the whole spring feast. You see how we would have knew that back in the day? We just would have read over that. So she hung on them. She stayed with them the whole spring feast, and she got blessed. Now, chapter 3 is dealing with the law of marriage, okay? The law of marriage. I'm going to show you how the Most High always looks out for his people. So let's go to what I want you to write above the chapter 3 is the law of marriage, Deuteronomy chapter 25, verses 5 through 10, and I need a reader. Once again, chapter 3 of the book of Ruth and the law of marriage, Deuteronomy chapter 25, verses 5 through 10. Who's going to read that for me? Deuteronomy chapter 25, okay, again, so that we can be on the same page. On the Ruth chapter 3 is about the law of marriage. And right on the top of it, Deuteronomy chapter 25, verses 5 through 10, and then we're going to read that. Okay? Ms. Marvel?
Deuteronomy 25, verse 5 through 10. 5 says, if brethren dwell together, and one of them die and have no child, the wife of the dead shall not marry without unto a stranger. Her husband's brother shall go in unto her and take her to him to wife, and perform the duty of an husband's brother unto her. And it shall be that the firstborn which she beareth shall succeed in the name of his brother, which is dead, and his name be not put out of Israel. 7. And if the man like not to take his brother's wife, then let his brother's wife go up to the gate unto the elders and say, my husband's brother refuses to raise up unto his brother a name of Israel. He will not perform the duty of my husband's brother. Verse 8, then the elders of his city shall call him and speak unto him. And if he stand to it and say, I like not to take her, then shall his brother's wife come unto him in the presence of the elders, and loose his shoe from off his foot, and spit in his face, and shall answer and say, so shall it be done unto the man that will not build up my brother's house. And his name shall be called in Israel, the house of him that has his shoe loose.
This is very important. So notice how the Most High, he sets it up, a law. This is the responsibility of the brother, which is the kinsman. And so Yah wants to make sure that, now notice that if she had no children, now the brother can't marry his brother's wife if she got children. There's no need for that. But it's always for a purpose to preserve the man's name in Israel, that his name is not to be wiped out. Now we have an issue here in chapter 3 and chapter 4 because we have Naomi and Ruth. Neither one of them has no kinsmen, no kids. And notice that she was already in Moab for 10 years and didn't have any kids. So now the issue is going to happen is that when they left, they sold a land. How are they going to get this land back if they don't have a kinsman redeemer? And that's what we're going to deal with in chapter 4. Very important you pay attention, okay? So chapter 3, Naomi tells Ruth what happened, or Ruth tells her what happened in the field. And Naomi picked up on that. She said, oh, okay. So she comes home and says, this man, and she tells him his name, and Naomi said, oh, that's our king. In other words, that's our way out. That's our way out right there. Remember, these ladies are living off the land. And so now chapter 3 is going to tell us how this issue is going to be solved. Okay, so let's read a little bit and see, can we glean from it? Let's read chapter 3. and start at verse 1, Ruth, chapter 3, verse 1. Okay,
Chapter 3, verse 1.
go on and read the whole thing.
Then Naomi, her mother-in-law, said unto her, My daughter, shall I not seek rest for thee, that it may be well with thee? And now is not Boaz of our kindred, with whom maidens thou wast? Behold, he winnoweth barley tonight in the threshing floor. Wash thyself therefore, and anoint thee, and put thy raiment upon thee, and get thee down to the floor. But make not thyself known unto the man until he shall have done eating and drinking. And it shall be, when he lieth down, that thou shalt mark the place where he shall lie. And thou shalt go in and uncover his feet, and lay thee down, and he will tell thee what thou shalt do. And she said unto her, All that thou sayest unto me, I will do. And she went down unto the floor, and did according to all that her mother-in-law bade her. When Boaz had eaten and drunk, and his heart was merry, he went to lie down at the end of the heap of corn. And she came softly and uncovered his feet, and laid her down. And it came to pass at midnight that the man was afraid, and turned himself, and behold, a woman lay at his feet. And he said, Who art thou? And she answered, I am Ruth, thy handmaid. Spread therefore thy skirt over thy handmaid, for thou art a near kinsman. And he said, Blessed be thou of the Lord, my daughter, for thou hast showed me more kindness in the latter end than in the beginning, inasmuch as thou followest not young men, whether rich or poor. And now, my daughter, fear not, I will do to thee all that thou requirest, for all this city of my people doth know that thou art a virtuous woman. And now it is true that I am thy near kinsman, howbeit there is a kinsman nearer than I. Tarry this night, and it shall be in the morning, that if he will perform unto thee the part of a kinsman, well, let him do the kinsman's part. But if he will not do the part of a kinsman to thee, then I will do the part of a kinsman to thee, as the Lord liveth. Lie down until the morning. And she lay at his feet until the morning, and she rose up before anyone could know another. And she said, Let it be not known that the woman came unto the floor. Also he said, Bring the veil that thou hast upon thee, and hold it. And when she held it, he measured 6 measures of barley, and laid it on her. And she went into the city. And when she came to her mother-in-law, she said, Who art thou, my daughter? And she told her all that the man had done for her. And she said, These 6 measures of barley he gave me, for he said to me, Go not empty into thy mother-in-law. Then she said, Sit still, my daughter, until thou knowest the matter, until thou know how the matter will fall. For the man will not be in rest until he had finished the thing this day.
That's a lot to chew on. That's a lot to chew on. Now, understanding the marriage, the law of marriage. What did you get from that, Mike?
Number one, you have to be obedient.
Mm-hmm.
And there's just an order to how you do things. And when you do it the way the Lord has set it out, then you're gonna be blessed. You know, and that's one of the things that we have to do as a people. If we want to get out of the situation that we're in, is go back to the Torah and to what the Bible tells us to do, so that we can be blessed, so that we can come out of the poverty that we're in, and the situations that we're in,
Mm-hmm.
the situations that we go through.
That's good. That's good. Anybody over here? Okay. Miss Sharon, because I heard you say something last week that she had she knew how to follow instructions.
Right, but that's what Mike said.
Mm-hmm.
She knew how to follow. What stuck out to me is when she said, what all you said I would do. And it reminded me that that's what we said, our father said, to Jehovah, what all that you said,
Yes, yes.
that's what we'll do.
We ain't got the microphone over there?
Oh.
Okay, yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, because we want to just be respectful
All
of
that-
those who
All
listen.
that the Father said, that's what we'll do.
Mhm.
Well, in her case, she did do all that he said. But like Mike said, our fathers didn't, and a lot of times we don't either. And that's why we're in the predicaments that we're in. But once we start doing according to his directions, following his precepts and his statutes, then he's not a man that he should lie.
Mhm.
So everything that he said that he would do, those things he said he would bring to pass, because we're obeying the guideline he set, he's gonna do those things. But we have to do what he said.
Ms. Jefferson? Okay. Pass it down.
If I remember correctly, that is part of the Shema. And it just goes to show how things that are started in Genesis just come down.
Amen. Anybody else? Ms. Moore? Okay, okay. Microphone.
Just want to, in that he was telling her, in other words, there's safety when you're in the correct place and that you're obedient. But he was telling her not to go anywhere else, like you mentioned, because if she had gone in some other field or somewhere else, he really couldn't see that she was protected. But if she stayed where she was, he tell his men, he tell his people, not to touch her or not to do any harm to her, because by being right there and don't go in other fields, she was protected. And I know he noticed her observing the Torah, and he could identify her as being not only a kinship, but also a part of him.
That's good, that's good, that's good. Anybody else? Because when you bring up this text, notice that what it says in verse 1 again. And Naomi, her mother-in-law, said it to her, my daughter, shall I not seek rest? So here's this mother-in-law. She's not even concerned about herself. She's concerned about her daughter-in-law, okay? And so, that basically reminds us how that scripture teaches us not to look on our own self, but be concerned about other people too. And so this is a powerful situation here, because when she comes to him, that she tells her that Boaz will be thrusting barley that night. Now at nighttime, this is how they did it, right? Now understand this here, because when you take the barley, you have to separate it by beating it first. Okay, beating it. Okay, very important, beating it, and then after you beat it, then you toss it up in the air, and then the wind takes the chaff away. Very important. This is a powerful lesson here. Go to Psalms chapter 1. Psalm chapter 1, and we'll start at verse 1 through 4. Understand what's going on here. So now it's going to teach us, if we understand the process of the separating, Psalm chapter 1, verse 1. As we understand the purpose of the chaff and the barley and the wheat, there must be a separation. Okay, there must be a separation. Even on Judgment Day, he's going to separate the sheep from the goat, right? There must be a separation. So in Psalms chapter 1, started at verse 1, anyone.
Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of
Jehovah. And in his law does he meditate day and night. And he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth his fruit in his season. His leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever he doeth shall prosper. The ungodly are not so, but are like the chaff which the wind driveth away. Therefore the ungodly shall not stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the congregation of the righteous. For Jehovah knoweth the way of the righteous.
Notice that. So he's used the concept that they would have understood, the chaff. Knowing that as the man is using the chaff, a flat concrete floor, something that's hard, and then he puts the barley or the wheat on it and roll so that the kernel will break away, right? Break away from it, okay? It's a crushing. Think about the lesson that y'all bring crushing situation in our life to break away so that he can separate you from the chaff. Because why? Because the chaff is taken outside and burned. So this is the only time that you and I have time to get the chaff out of our life, to be separated. And then that which is remained is taken into the house and used. So I don't know about you, but I want to be used. Huh? Go ahead. You caught that, didn't you?
I caught something. It just reminded me of Ruth and Oprah. You know, when the situation got really bad and they were crushed, one cleaved to Yeshua, and the other one went away. And that's what's burned away. But Ruth got her blessing. So it just caught that.
You remember that this is a powerful book, guys. This is a powerful book because remember that the situation in the book of Judges, because there was no king in Israel, and what happened? Man did what's right in their own sight. So the book of Ruth, it can seem like it just doesn't have no significance, but it does, because Yah say, okay, a king is a problem. Okay, I'm gonna bring a king. So that's what the book is about. So at the end of the book, it tells us by giving us the genealogy of Perez, and it ends up with King David. And so that's the whole purpose of the book of Ruth, is to bring on King David, to let you know that Yah said, I recognize your problem. I know what your problem is. And I'm going to bring the solution, but a lot of times that we don't like the solution.
Right.
Huh?
Right.
You, listen, you thought it was going to come this way.
Yeah.
I tell my people, I said, listen, I'm the black Moses for the family. Now, whether you follow me out of Egypt, that ain't my problem. But I'm going. But Yah always have a solution for his people. And so here's the situation that Naomi recognized it. And again, Ruth gonna follow instruction. Oh, the lady knew how to follow instruction.
Yeah.
That ought to be a purpose. Here's a Moabite, but she's taking instruction from Naomi. And she's listening. And so she tells her what to do. Don't bother the man until you finish eating. I know it's hard for some of you ladies right there. You know? Little simple instructions. Don't bother the brother till you finish eating. And she followed these instructions. Huh? Now, in this text, in this small book that I wrote down personal, but I try to share something with you, okay? In this small book, the kinsman, which they translate, I hate when they do that, but they translated in the book for the kinsman, redeemer, they translate it as redeem, kinsman. See how the translators mess with it? It's the same word, but it's in the book 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 times that the word kinsman redeemer is used. So it's telling me that this book is about kinsman redeemer. Very important. Okay, we're going to try to connect these together. Oh, you just hold it there. I'm gonna get you. I know you know what I'm talking about. Okay, let's bind these two together because they go together. Okay, let's go to let's go to the book of Leviticus. Okay, chapter 25, and we're going to read about that. And we'll bind these together. So on the top of chapter 4, you can start at verse 23. chapter 25 of the book of Vayikra, that is the book of Leviticus, chapter 25, start at verse 3.
Three 6 years thou shalt sow thy field,
In chapter 25?
and 6 years
Verse
thou
23?
shalt
Okay.
through thy vineyard.
23.
And
23. Chapter 25, if I messed it up, don't worry about it. Chapter 25, verse 23. Chapter 25, okay, let me slow down then. Leviticus chapter 25, verse 23. That's okay. That's
The
okay.
land shall not be sold forever, strangers and soldiers. For the land is mine.
Notice that.
Ye are strangers and sojourners with me. And in all the land of you possession, ye shall grant a reputation for the land. Redemption for the land.
The land shall not be sold forever, for the land is mine. For ye are strangers and sojourners with me.
Now, I want you to think about what Yah said. I'm going to give you the land. In the book of Joshua, all the tribes had got land, but you'll notice in the book of Judges, a lot of them didn't drive out the enemy of the land. They just dwell with them. That's a teaching in itself. So, but the land, keep in mind, the land is not ours. He gives us the land. So that means that we are stewards of the land. Keep that in mind. Go ahead.
Verse 24. And in all the land of your possession, ye shall grant a redemption for the land. If thy brother be waxen poor, and hath sold away some of his possession, and if any of his kin come to redeem it, then shall he redeem that which his brother sold. And if the man have none to redeem it, and himself be able to redeem it, then let him count the years of the sale thereof, and restore the overplus unto the man to whom he sold it, that he may return unto his possession. But if he be not able to restore it to him, then that which is sold shall remain in the hand of him that hath bought it until the year of Jubilee. And in the Jubilee shall it go out, and he shall return unto his possession.
Okay, read verse 28 again.
But if he be not able to restore it to him, then that which is sold shall remain in the hand of him that hath bought it until the year of Jubilee.
That's powerful. I'm gonna let her say something before she forget. You got it? Okay.
I actually have a question, so I'll wait.
Okay. Now notice this here. Now I want y'all to listen, take this here, because Yah used natural things to teach us spiritual things. Never forget that. We have reversed it in the Christian era, that we take and use make everything spiritual and ignore the natural. But the Bible does not teach that. So it's teaching us about the land. Okay. Now remember, because the word land is Adamah, and we are called Adam, which is the same word. It's a word play. Adam come from the Adamah, the ground. So we have a connection to the ground. So we are the one that can cause the land to prosper when we obey. If we don't obey, then the earth, the Bible say, groaneth and vomit. You need to catch that. So the more wicked that man get, the more violent the earth get. Y'all got to catch that. I'm telling you, the more, if man wants to stop the storms and all the things that happen in the natural, okay, then all man has to do is start obeying the Torah. There's a connection to you and I and the land. That's why Paul says that the earth groaneth for the manifestation of the sons of Elohim. Am I right? So it's very important we understand the connection. And farming or the agriculture was to teach us the process, how that we grow in life. You can't expect a crop that you have not sown. If you're not willing to till the ground, farming is very important. It depends on the dirt, right? It depends on the dirt, the sun, the rain, all these things. And so by farming the land, we understand that, man, life, to live a holy life, it takes work. A man, a woman just don't wake up one day and she's holy and she living right. To know that takes work. Tilling friends out of your life, getting these friends out of your life, getting this situation out of your life. It takes work. So when you work hard to live a certain way, then you ain't gonna let people throw dirt in your life. Think about that. Think about that. So this is to teach us, okay? Notice that he said that in verse 28 again, but if he be not able to restore it to him, then that which is sold shall remain in the hand of him that has bought it until the year of Jubilee. The Most High set up a time that he knew that there was going to be those that had no redeemer, had nobody to deliver them like you and I. Think about that. Nobody's trying to purchase us back. Nobody's trying to redeem us. But the question is, Israel, is there a redeemer in the house of Israel? Yes, there's a redeemer. That's what he's trying to teach us. That's what he's trying to teach us. That's why no one can restore the people of Israel but Yah, because the people is his. Watch this here. Go to Psalms. Psalms 49. Let's start at verse 1. Verse 1. Psalms 49, verse 1.
To the chief musician, a song for the sons of Korah. Hear this, all ye people. Give ear, all ye inhabitants of the world, both low and high, rich and poor together. My mouth shall speak of wisdom, and the meditation of my heart shall be of understanding. I will incline mine ear to a parable. I will open my dark saying upon the harp. Wherefore should I fear in the days of evil, when the iniquity of my hills shall compass me about? They that trust in their wealth and boast themselves in the multitude of their riches, none of them can by any means redeem his brother.
Do you hear that?
Nor give to Jehovah a ransom for him. For the redemption of their soul is precious, and it ceaseth forever.
Think about that. The redemption. See, there's nobody in the world that can redeem your soul. Nobody. And notice that the king's redeemer had to be one who's related to you. Not only that, he had to be willing to redeem you. He had to be willing to pay the price. Why? Because they sold the land in their want. But the land doesn't belong to you and I. It belongs to Yah. Though our forefathers sold us, but the land don't belong to those who hold us in captivity. You understand that? The land belongs to Yah. And for him to get his land back, he got to pay a price. So it's about our soul. It's about our soul. Now, watch this here. I'm going to show you a verse. Go to Deuteronomy chapter 32. I'm going to show you a verse. This what now, think about the land and the soul. See, you thinking about property, but y'all say, listen, no, I'm thinking about souls. Because in Ezekiel, he say, all souls are mine. Let's start it in verse 1. I love context. Verse 1. Go ahead.
Chapter 32, verse 1. Give ear, O ye heavens, and I will speak, And hear, O earth, the words of my mouth. My doctrine shall drop as the rain, and my speech shall distill as the dew, as the small rain upon the tender herb, and the showers upon the grass. Because I will publish the name of the Lord. Ascribe ye greatness unto our God. He is the rock. His work is perfect. For all his ways are judgment, a God of truth and without iniquity. Just and right is he. They have corrupted themselves. Their spot is not the spot of his children. They are a perverse and crooked generation. Do ye thus requite the Lord? O foolish people and unwise. Is not he thy father that hath bought thee? He hath not made thee and established thee. Remember the days of old. Consider the years of many generations. Ask thy father, and he will show thee thy elders, and they will tell thee when the Most High.
Now slow down. Listen what the first one said.
When the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel.
Was when they went down to Egypt, how many souls had went down there? 70. Genesis chapter 10 said there was 70 nations. So Yah is dividing these things according to the children of Israel. But what else it says?
For the Lord's portion is his people.
No, it's the land.
His people.
Notice this here. I want you to catch this here. When he divided the land, he gave the people land, but he said, listen, I ain't interested in people. My property is the people. He gave listen, what are the nations fighting over today? Land. But y'all say, listen, my portion is his people. So the text trying to say that, listen, y'all say, I know the price I got to do to get you back. I know that you was wax cold, wax poor, and you sold yourself. Okay? But the land is mine. His portion is his, or Jacob. Very important that we understand that. So Yah coming back to get his land, but it had to be a king's redeemer. It had to be someone who's related to it. It had to be one who's willing to pay the price. And this is what Peter is talking about. Marcel, are you up there? I can't have you fall asleep up there. You had your head down like you in school or something. Amen. Chapter 1, 1 Peter chapter 1, verses 18 and 19. So now Yah's portion is his people. It's not land, right? See, while the nations fight over land, Yah said, no, my portion is my people. So that's why he say, if my people who are called by my name. That's why he say his people are destroyed by a lack of knowledge. Yah is his people. So he's going to fight for his people. That's why the book of, I think is Joel say that he going to call them down to the valley of Jehoshaphat and plead for his people. He said, I'm going to ask you one more time. Pharaoh, let my people go. He's going to plead for his people. 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 18 and 19 says what?
1 Peter chapter 1, verse 18. For as much as ye know that ye were not redeemed with corruptible things,
Go ahead.
Redeemed with corruptible things as silver and gold, from your vain conversion received by tradition from your fathers, but with the precious blood of the Moshiach, of a lamb without blemish and without spot.
So notice redemption. And if you had, I should have had my board clean out. But when you look at the word redemption, is the Hebrew word ga'ah. Okay, it's ga'ah. It's a gimbal and an aleph and a lamed. Now in Paleo Hebrew, the gimbal is like a camel, and then at the end is aleph lamed, which is the word that we get God from. So notice this here. So redemption comes from lifting up Yah. Hallelujah. You didn't get that. Redemption comes from lifting up Yah. Somebody turn to John chapter 12, verse 32. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. It comes from lifting up Yah, not lifting up our situations. Very important. We understand that. So notice how a camel has to get down on all four to be benefit. It's no reason, even the word camel, gamah, means benefit. So there's benefit when you lift up Yah.
Amen.
Yeah.
John chapter 12, verse 32. And if I be lifted up from the earth,
Did you hear that?
Yes.
will draw all men unto me.
Notice that. He is our redemption. Okay. He's our kin's redeemer. But remember that the kin's redeemer had to be related to us. He had to be kin to us. He had to be willing to come and purchase us. He had to be willing. Okay. Now let's go to Hebrews chapter 2. Let's see, do Yeshua reach fit these our kin's redeemer? Hebrews chapter 2, we'll read probably verses 11 through 14.
Hebrews chapter 2, verse 11. Again, Hebrews chapter 2, verse 11. For both he that sanctified and they who are sanctified are all of one. For which cause he is not ashamed to call them brethren.
Oh, that's talking. Listen what this text says about Yeshua. He's not ashamed to call us, his brother. Go ahead.
Saying, I will declare thy name unto my brethren. In the midst of the church of the ecclesia will I sing praise unto thee. And again, I will put my trust in him. And again, behold, I and the children which Jehovah hath given me, for as much then as the children are partakers of flesh and blood, he also himself likewise took part of the same, that through death he might destroy him that hath the power of death, that is the devil.
Yeah. You see that? Yeshua became our kinsman redeemer. Outside, that's why he had to be willing to come, Mike. He had to be willing to pay the price. The price that he paid, according to Peter, was his blood. We was not redeemed with such things as silver and gold, but we were redeemed. Very important we understand this book of Ruth. Is so much in here that we can glean from. Get it? That we can glean from if we can understand what's going on here. So there's no coincidence that the thing really trying to switch and say, listen, Yah has a solution to his people problem. They need a king. This is powerful here. They need a king. So as we look at the book of Ruth again, let's go back there to chapter 4. 3 and 4, they are located. So we'll just touch on this here. So now in this text again, that we have all, it switched from the land to the kinsman redeemer to understand that how is Naomi going to get out of this situation? And she discovered that she has a kinsman. But we find out that Boaz realized that he's not the first in line. He's not the first in line. There's another, okay? And so Boaz said, listen, I ain't the first. That's good, daughter. I see that he said, I'm going to take care of you, but I'm not the first. And so now they talk this thing over. Now this thing switched about Boaz and Ruth. Now, how are we going to do this here? So there is a law. There, as you said earlier, there's a protocol how we do things. Okay, so now he called them. Now, this is a key verse here. Remember what Boaz did that when he sent Ruth back, right? He said at the end of verse 13, he said, listen, as Yah liveth, lie down into the morning. In other words, I'm going to make sure that you're taken care of. One way or the other. He even put the stamp of proof that Yah name in here. I'm going to take care of it. It's amazing how Boaz is so generous to Ruth. And she said, listen, I'm a stranger. I'm a stranger. So he's showing the love of Yeshua to this woman here. Now, watch it here. It says here, when she got ready to leave, listen what he did in verse 15. Also, he said, bring thee the veil that thou hast upon and hold it. And when she had held it, he measured out 6 measures of barley and laid it upon her. Okay. And she went into the city. And when she came to her mother-in-law, she said, who art thou, my daughter? And she said, told her all that the man had done. And then she repeated this here. And she said, these 6 measures of barley gave him to me. For he said to me, go not empty into thy mother mother-in-law. Now, watch this here. These 6 boys was a sign, not for Ruth, but for Naomi. Watch what Naomi gonna say. Very important. Because she said in verse 18, then she said, sit still, my daughter, until thou know how the matter will fall. For the man will not what? Rest. Notice this here. He gives us 6 measures, which represent the Shabbat. The man's not gonna finish until he has rest. So listen, that was a sign to Naomi. I'm not gonna rest until I deal with this. Naomi the one said that. She said he ain't gonna rest till he deal with this here. So the 6 boys was a sign to Naomi. I ain't gonna listen. I'm gonna finish this here. I ain't gonna rest till this is done. That's powerful right there. You would miss that if you didn't understand these little idioms that the scripture put in there to let us know what is going on here. And notice that as at the scene shift, it says in chapter 4, then Boaz up to the gate. Why? Because everything is done at the gate. That was the authority of the city in the day. That's why when the angels came to Sodom and Gomorrah, where was Lot sitting? At the gate. That's where they did business at. Okay. And then it says in verse 2, it had 10 men. So now he's got witness. Okay. The elders are at the gate with him, and he took 10 of the elders and they sit down. Okay. And he said unto his kinsman, Naomi. Now he plotted this out, but I don't know about you, but he kept this other thing in his pocket here. Watch this here. Watch this here. This is so funny. He said, and to the kinsman, Naomi is come again out of the country of Moab, and she sell a portion of land. Why? Because she was poor. Okay, remember, she was poor, so she sold it. And when you sell the land, it's like it's like being a landlord. Okay, you rent the room for me, but the house don't own you. So don't get the tripping, right? So you take care of my house, the room you rent from me, but remember, it's not yours. So the land is sold, but we learned that the land belongs to Yah. So when they want to redeem the land, it has to be a redeemer. But Naomi ain't got one. Do she? She just told you that Boaz is my kinsman. Huh? And Ruth just happened to land in the field. So this is hope for Naomi. And Boaz was generous enough to send out the invitation. But he's still keeping Torah. I can't violate it. That's one before me. We see Torah all obeying in this thing here. Boaz was a man obeying Torah. God bless. Ruth was one. Naomi. That's all we see here. These people are not doing no Jacob thing, trying to trick their way through stuff. And at the end, you will see the blessing. So Boaz, do the right thing, bring witness, bring the elders. In verse 3, he said, and he said unto the kinsman, Naomi, that came from the sale, she sold a portion of land, which was our brother who? Amalek. So they kin. Because it had to be someone kin to you. I thought to advise thee, that's right, ain't trying to be slick, saying, buy it before the inhabitant, before the elders of my people. And then he said, if thou will redeem it, but if thou will not redeem it, then tell me. And then he said, what? I'll redeem it. Now, can you imagine? Because I've already been talking to you, and we got this thing going. But I didn't know the guy was going to say, I'll redeem it. Can you imagine that his head like, oh, I didn't know that. I thought he was going to. It's like it's messed it up here. So Boaz said, okay, what I'm going to do with this is, he said, that I made, there none redeem it beside thee, and I after thee. And he said, I'll redeem it. What y'all think that Boaz is thinking now? What I'm going to do? I didn't know he was going to say that. I'm sure that him and Ruth just thought about this thing. They worked out this thing, and it didn't turn out. I didn't know that they was going to ask for more than this. I saved up this here, and now they're asking for. Anybody been in a situation that you didn't know that they was going to ask for this? I got all the paper together, but I didn't know they were going to ask for that paper. Amen. A situation like that, how do we deal with it? Boaz said in verse 5, then said Boaz, what day thou buy the field of the hand of Naomi, thou must also. That's it. Hey, y'all always got to keep what they say. Don't lay all your hand out there at one time. Don't reveal it all at one time. Amen. You know, you're going to buy a car, just don't tell them that you just won the lottery. You know what I'm saying? I mean, come on. I mean, or you just got a raise or something. I mean, come on now. You got. That's what he was smart enough to like. Okay, let me see how he's going to respond on this here. Don't just make the first option, you know, say auction on the car or whatever. You know what I'm talking about, guys? You know what I'm talking about? And so Boaz was smart enough like that. And so he tells them that, okay, if you're going to do that, then you must root the Moabite. Now, you have to understand this here. Boaz has been having a relationship with Ruth, meaning acquainted with her. This guy, he's thinking about land. He's thinking about finance. I wrote in my scripts, I say he loved money more than he loved his brother. Think about that. If a brother waxed, he's the one, the first one who can redeem his brother, that his brother can have a inheritance in Israel, but he loved money more than his brother. And so he said, listen, I can't marry Ruth. Why is that? Because if he married Ruth, none of his kids get anything. It all go to Ruth's kids. He said, no, I can't do that. I can't do that. So he put money and his own agenda before his brother. He thought money, to him, money was more important than his brother having a name in Israel. And that's why we don't even know who he is. But we know who Boaz is, don't we? Huh? Amen. Think about that. We don't know who he is, but we know who Boaz is. This is beautiful, how Yah takes the unguarded, the unwanted, a person that grew up in a family of incense. Listen, it teaches me, it doesn't matter how you got here. Huh? It doesn't matter if you, listen, conceived in a hotel, conceived at the movies or in the back of the car. It doesn't matter how you got here, but you're here. She wasn't born in a genealogy of family that you can be proud of. Think about that. There's nothing to be proud of the Moabite. It's nothing to be proud of a two daughters sleeping with their daddy to bring about a family. Ain't nothing. But Ruth didn't allow her past to hold her back. Huh? Do you understand? It doesn't matter where you was born. Doesn't matter how you got here. You could be, listen, you could be in the house today and be your uncle's child, and nobody knows it. Nobody knows that that child came from a rape, from your uncle, from your cousin. Nobody knows it. This is what we're dealing with Ruth. Teach us that it doesn't matter how we got here, guys. Doesn't matter. Yah knows how to work out his plan. I can't understand this here. This lady, who would ever thought that, you know, one day, Abraham, there's going to be a Moabite in your family? You're like, you got to be kidding. You open that up. You open this up. You can't even believe that how did Ruth get in there? How did Tamar get in there? Huh? These women that would be thrown out in a society that they be worth nothing. But Yeshua writes them into the Torah. That we can remember that, man, nobody is born out of wedlock is useless. Doesn't matter how you got here, no matter what it is, no matter if you grew up, you struggle all your life, and all your mama did was just pray, and it felt like she begged God all your life, but you went to school, you became a doctor, all those things. That's incredible. Trusted in. And Ruth, man, that's powerful right here. And as we look at this here, and I was just like, this is incredible, because we can even go even further, because when they begin the genealogy, it said, now, this is the genealogy of Perez. Perez begot Hazan. Hazan begot Ram. Ram begot Ammadai. Ammadai begot Obed. Nahshon. Nahshon begot Obed. Boaz. Boaz. That's right. Yeah. So here they giving a genealogy at the end, telling us that, listen, we can even go back to Tamar, how did she come? Look what she did. But y'all still work these things out for us. So the purpose to bring in King David. Think about that.